Good evening and welcome to the September 22nd council meeting. Members of the public were provided with the following methods to watch and participate in this open meeting. You can attend in person at the North Dumfries Community Complex. Attend electronically via Zoom to observe the meeting or to speak to an item on the agenda. You can watch the live stream by accessing the meeting on the Township YouTube page. Written submissions and comments given to the clerk's division were provided to council members and will form part of the public record. Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge and thank everyone for joining us this evening. We appreciate your participation. As we come together to serve the community, I ask that we create a welcoming and positive environment for everyone that includes respect, that we listen to each other with care, speak thoughtfully, and engage kindly with one another. Kindness, that we treat everyone, council, staff, and the public with respect and understanding, and inclusion, that we embrace diverse perspectives and respect each other's opinions. Together, we can make this meeting space one where respect, kindness, and inclusion are at the heart of everything we do. Behavior that is disrespectful, disruptive, aggressive, or intimidating will result in those individuals being asked to leave the meeting. And Councilor Rowland, please.
I just wanted to add to your statement, Councilor Wilms. I believe I owe you an apology. Our last meeting, I mischaracterized your passion and championing the Sprague Road Culture Landscape Study as a pet project. And I realized you were offended by those comments. I did not intend to label it in a pejorative manner. I apologize for this. It was not my intention to belittle you in any way. I value our working relationship and our friendship and hope that you'll accept this.
Brilliant.
And through you, Mayor, thank you very much, Councilor Rowland. I don't think it was just, I think you both got a little heated and carried away, and so I'm, yeah. But I would likewise like to say that I apologize if there was any.
Thank you both. We have a great team here. And the debates are really usually non-contentious and quite good. And I really respect all of you for that. Next is approval of the agenda, please. Councilor Rowland.
Moved by myself and by Councilor Tilley that council adopt the September 22nd, 2025 council meeting agenda as presented.
All those in favor? Carrie, thank you. I'd now like to do the Indigenous acknowledgement. We acknowledge the land on which we gather today as the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabe, and the Neutral people. We acknowledge the enduring presence of the Indigenous people with whom we share this land today, their achievements and their contributions to our community. We offer this acknowledgement as an act of reconciliation between Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples of Canada. And I had a great privilege this week to attend the airport where several murals were painted by the Indigenous people, and they are stunning. They are just breathtaking. And also at the airport, there is the wall that labels a welcome in all the different languages, including English. And I think that's something we should look at doing here. I think would be an amazing thing. And I can see Karen nodding her head. So Karen, that's your project. Thank you. And so it was, and they were humble. When I spoke to each of the artists and all the Indigenous people there, they were so humble. And when Sherry Lynn, the chief of Six Nations, got up to speak, she said, this is reconciliation, acknowledging that the Indigenous people have things to contribute to and work alongside with us. And I think we've come a huge way, and I hope we still go further. So let's pause and reflect. Thank you. Is there any disclosure of community interest or general Winchell? Seeing none, I guess we're moving into closed next. Councilor Rosner, please. Tell the police we're sorry, if they go get coffee, I'd like a tea. Peppermint.
Moved by myself, second by Councilor Rowland, that council move into closed meeting session at 6:04 p.m. pursuant to the Municipal Act section 239(2) to discuss 6.1 report number CAO 22/2025 NDCC Twin Pad Project, a position plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board, Municipal Act, Section 239, 2K.
All those in favor? Carried, thank you.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Tilly, that council reconvene into open session at
Right,
7:04 p.m.
all those in favor? That's carried, thank you. And now the report out into the open. Council received a report from the Chief Administrative Officer related to negotiations for a financial donation in support of the fundraising campaign for the North Dumfries Community Complex Impact Project. Direction was provided to staff, and a future report from staff on this matter is expected at a later date. Thank you. Can I have approval of the minutes, please, Councillor Tilly?
Moved by myself, second by Council Williams, that council approve the following meeting minutes. Council meeting minutes dated September 8th, 2025.
All those in favor? Carried, thank you. And where are we now? Delegations, Chief Grau from the Waterloo Regional Police providing an update to North Dumfries Township Council. Thank you, Chief, and welcome. And you can raise that higher if you want to higher. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, good evening, Mayor Froxton, council, staff, and all those in public. It's an honor to be here on behalf of the Waterloo Regional Police Service. It's our effort to be here annually or whenever called upon to address you and the citizens of North Dumfries Township. So I have a short presentation tonight, followed by any questions that you might have. Find my bearings here. So very proud to be part of an organization that is mission and vision driven. It is our effort to strive to ensure that every person in our region is safe and feels safe. And I'm going to talk through some statistics and some of our outcomes tonight. So we're very focused on delivering excellent service to the community, and we'll hear tonight that we're very pleased to provide the service that we do in a growing community, one of the fastest growing in all of Ontario and Canada. Last year, we served the public in about 346,000 occurrences, 4,600 of those being in North Dumfries Township, and we saw a slight increase in total calls for service in this community compared to the previous year. We have recently embraced a rural township policing strategy focused on three essential priorities. One is community engagement, all of our efforts to be visible, to be present, to be engaged and listening to the communities that we're serving, focused on crime suppression, which I'll address shortly, and also road safety. It's the #1 priority in every community, including this one. I'm very proud to be joined tonight by Staff Sergeant Scott Griffiths from the Traffic Services Unit, our Rural Sergeant Jay Heiser, and also David Mullick, Manager of Government Relations. They all play crucial roles to connect our members to the community that we serve. This strategy has started to play some focused efforts for this. When we look at all of the total calls for service in North Dumfries from 2024, you can see some examples statistically that add up to about half of our calls for service in this community are related to traffic services in some way, shape, or form, proactive traffic enforcement, response to motor vehicle collisions, and some of our focused efforts on the selective traffic enforcement programs. When we look at the specifics, you can see displayed are some examples of our efforts by the Traffic Services Unit and our frontline members. So You can see a number of speeding, distracted driving, dangerous driving, impaired driving, and seatbelt charges. These are what we call the fatal four. These are often involved in some of our highest leverage investigations. Tragically, in Waterloo Region last year, we had 17 road fatalities and a number of high injury incidents. You know, they're the focus of our enforcement, visibility, and education efforts. And you can see displayed that we've had a considerable focus on driving down some of these trends through our focused enforcement efforts. We take a step back and just look at trends for Waterloo Region throughout 2024. When we look at issues of violent crime across the region, there were 22 total shootings. Past 3 years, we've had 21 shootings per year. Of the 5 homicides last year, 4 of those involved firearms. One concerning trend that we observed in 2024 related to carjackings, and that's the violent robbery or attempted robbery with vehicle while somebody's approaching or in the vehicle. That trend has lessened within 2025, but we continue to see a high number of real weapons and imitation weapons used throughout all of our enforcement and engagement efforts. Also, a focus of ours is related to thefts and robberies. We know that for some years as a community, we have been an environment where people have come to our community, including North Dumfries Township, for the availability of stolen vehicles, large commercial vehicles as well. And these are organized crime trends that we see locally across Ontario and nationally. And although some of the trends related to vehicle thefts have lessened across Canada and across the province, Waterloo Region within the last year has seen a sustained level of total motor vehicle theft. So we are committed to continue to drive that down. We have made some concerted efforts in our crime suppression efforts that I'll speak to. So something called stratified policing is an evidence-informed model that we have adopted. It really uses the best of crime analysis and the prioritization of offenses such as shootings, robberies, break and enters, and some of the other large-scale thefts that I've mentioned, and allows us to focus our efforts, to share intelligence, to align our teams, to align our focus from a priority sequence to ensure that we are nimble, we are flexible, we are sharing our results with the community on problem areas, problem offenders, those who are continuing to victimize and through a repeat of offense patterns. And we've had some great efforts heading into 2025, driving down firearms offenses, break and enters, and robberies as well. For those who do not know the way we are structured, this is an example of how our neighborhood policing models exist. So for instance, for the Cambridge detachment, which largely serves North Dumfries Township, you can see the structure of our division where we had officers deployed visibly through neighborhood policing, officers and cruisers deploying the zone. We currently have 2 officers whose mission is to patrol North Dumfries Township on a consistent and regular basis. But they are supported by many other teams as well. So you can see displayed here tonight, we have our rural patrol sergeant, Jay Heiser here, and he helps to coordinate some of the efforts with our direct action response team, our community youth engagement team, and also a street crime team that will come on board towards the end of 2025 in South Division. And they are also supported by many other officers who the public may never see. So you can see displayed many of our centralized regional teams that have distinct focus for robbery, break and enter and theft, gun and gang violence, forensic identification, all of our investigative units for victim-centered crime and so on, and many operational support units that are too numerous to mention in this short presentation. We also are focused on upstream prevention efforts. We know that the here and now matters, but we're also devoted to looking upstream for how we break the trends related to the social determinants of health, wellness, and crime. So we are committed through many of our resources on action tables related to intimate partner violence, gender-based violence, combating hate for hate crimes and hate incidents, and the issues related to mental health addictions and many clustering events as well. And also in starting to wrap up, through all of our human resource efforts, we're continuing to be focused on being agile and future focused in the deployment of technology. We're very proud to be a police service that has embraced continuous improvement and innovation. All of our frontline members have body-worn cameras. Every cruiser that you see has front-facing and in-car camera technology. automated license plate reader technology. All the officers that you will see in the public have smartphone technology with evidence capture capability. And we are starting to create a network of integrated camera networks that will allow us to respond, after the fact when incidents have occurred. But we hope as we emerge some of this technology, there'll be opportunities for crime prevention and community partnership to recognize the growing trends of crime and complexity in our society. Principal to this will be the development of a public safety communications center that will serve this region for decades to come. In closing, want to highlight a presentation that we provided publicly last week at our Police Service Board meeting related to a CCTV program. So we have just recently launched a CamSafe program, which encourages citizens and businesses to register their cameras to a database to allow us to respond after incidents have occurred. We plan to roll out through the latter part of 2025 and into next year, approximately 52 cameras across the region that will enable us to focus on high crime areas and community informed areas for visibility, for response, and also leveraging some technology for automated license plate readers as well. So we have not disclosed the location of any of these proposed installments as we continue to work with every municipality across the region to find the best fit for our community. But I'm happy to expand on this program and the opportunity that awaits this community if you're so interested. So in closing, as much as I focused on technology towards the end, we continue to be very focused on the health and wellness of our membership to serve this community well. And we rely on key engagements such as this one and the support of our community to continue to drive crime prevention, crime response as we seek to provide the best response possible and build a safe community. So I will close there formally and welcome any questions or dialogue you have. Thank you.
Councillor Axley.
Just one very quick question. Patrolling in air, does that primarily happen during business hours to a max hour in the evening? Or is there a patrol that is generally in air proper from about 11 p.m. till 4 in the morning?
So all the above. Essentially, it's our commitment to have a sustained presence within this community without any breaks. So we have recently run a program throughout the summer, continuing into the fall, where we'd like to have continuous visibility and engagement in this community, so that there's no lapses in coverage. We're recognizing crime trends and our ability to engage, but also to be present to prevent crimes as well. So we know that over the years, there's been some stretching of our resources across the region, but it's our commitment to North Dumfries Township that we want to be here consistently 24/7. We also look at crime trends across the week and into the weekend, and at times we're adding some additional resources where we know there's opportunities for things to occur where we're bolstering some of those efforts.
Okay.
Councillor Williams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you to Chief, I just want to extend thanks for the patrols and that you guys do. I know when I hear from residents, they're very pleased whenever police do traffic checks. And also with the work that you've done with the MTO for truck safety in this area, that has been very well received. So thank you for that. My question is also with regards to the CCTV cameras. So there have been constituents that are wondering, are we turning into some kind of Big Brother kind of scenario? So I was wondering if you could address that.
Sure, I think it's a fair question because technology continues to evolve, and I often say that we're currently living in a surveillance state, and it's controlled largely by citizens and businesses now. There's very few places in our world where we can't go where we are on camera. What we're proposing is we think is a best case scenario where cameras that we deploy in partnership with municipalities will be communicated to the public from start to finish. We will be communicating openly where our cameras are. We will have websites that will explain their use, their limited access, the retention for the data and the evidence. And also, we want to continue for for the system to evolve over time. And so we've learned from communities across North America, especially that it can create an opportunity for the community to be heavily invested on crime prevention, where they understand this is an area of concern. Cameras are deployed in this area for specific reasons related to could be traffic related issues, could be crime related issues, and we want to provide a deterrent effect wherever possible. Some of the emerging technology with automated license plate readers has proven very beneficial for us for the technology that's in our vehicles. The council and the public would know that because of the Highway 401 access and Highway 97, there is opportunity for criminal enterprise, to exist here, where it's quick access points to many places. So we've been looking at stolen vehicles, trucks being stolen, loads being stolen, break-ins, and that availability down the 401 corridor. So those are examples of where we want to create that first phase pilot, work with municipalities on a pilot basis for proof of concept. And if there's a continued desire to invest, then we will work with communities to grow the program over time. We also want to leverage communities and businesses that are already utilizing camera networks today, so that we can create an understanding where under certain conditions, we would have access to networks when something has occurred. But again, everything that we do, we're going to be fully transparent, no secrecy, and to be informed and driven by the community's wishes.
Councilor Wilson.
Madam Mayor, through you, Chief, just wondering, I understand the application of CCTV in urban areas. As a business owner in some of our rural industrial parks, I'm just wondering, do you see an application with rural parks? You sort of mentioned the 4197, but we have other parks as well.
Yeah.
Just wondering how you see that unfolding.
So right now, the proposed pilot sites are driven by a crime related data over a 5-year trend. And I think you raise a good point, is there are potential limits to all of it, is to say that there's cameras that we would deploy potentially with that ability to tap into cameras to monitor live events as they're unfolding, also to go back after the fact. The automated license plate reader technology that can provide us the ability to track movements across the region in a community such as this. So I think we want to start slow and then give a chance for every municipality such as this one the opportunity to understand exactly what it is, what the capabilities are, and then work with municipalities and businesses to grow a network over time. Another technology that we're tracking that is connected to this is drone technology as well. We recognize that speed is evolving quickly, but we recognize over time that may be another thing that we can leverage to allow us to respond to an incident as it's occurring, and then after the fact as well, to help with our deployment. So still a lot to work out. And again, we want to provide as much engagement and opportunity for our community to inform, ask questions, and to test their comfort with what we might undertake.
Councilor Hoffman, and then Councilor Sutton.
So just to follow up, so then are you saying that it's a public-private partnership for these cameras? Like you'll be employing my cameras that have my properties, tapping into those, and also having your own cameras, or how would that work?
Yeah, so maybe I should just clarify, the CCTV program that we're looking to unveil is a specific partnership with just municipalities. But we've recognized that there are networks that exist within municipalities, there are networks that exist within businesses, commercial plazas, schools as well. And so there's no plan to actively monitor any of the cameras in real time. That would create all kinds of issues. It's unsustainable. But when we collectively start to anticipate, what is possible by leveraging artificial intelligence, if we're looking to go back after the fact, is there an ability to track something that's occurred? So using a combination of the municipal or business cameras, can we create a network of intelligence and release share that will allow us to piece together something that's occurred, solve a crime, hold people accountable, and hopefully prevent crime through those practices?
My name is Councilor Tillman, Councilor Austin.
Thank you, Mary. Through your to the chief, I just want to thank the team. I had a wonderful interaction with Sergeant Jay Hauser and David Mullock, as well as pulled in, I guess, Sergeant Jay McSween as well. Just in dealing with the Bell wire staff. And I just appreciate the thoughtfulness of having online meeting and doing that. It just shows that you're willing to reach out for a community that's feeling very put on about. And it seems like an impossible task, and I appreciate everything you're doing and appreciate the follow-up that's on that. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Councillor Austin.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a final comment about the CCTV. I think it's a fantastic program. Because I know that it must be taxing when a crime is committed and you have to send a detective or an officer out to a business and they've got to, ask if they can get video footage or find video footage and stuff. So creating a program with the cooperation of the public and businesses and municipalities. I would think that in time that would make your jobs a little easier to put the men on the road rather than to put them in the office looking at surveillance and hunting it down. So, yeah, I think that's a great idea, actually.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I have several things. First, I think you're great. You know that you've done so many things lately in this area, the capturing of the sort of chop shop down at the 401 area, and I'm really pleased with what you've done. Imitation weapon, is it actually a weapon or does it just look exactly like a weapon?
So we've seen over time a growth of the use of imitation weapons. So it could be what's known as a pellet gun, a BB gun, toy guns, even the commission of an offense. So when someone is using what looks like a firearm, and sometimes they are almost we call them replicas, they're indistinguishable. And so it is a criminal offense, and there's several criminal offenses that make that illegal. Because it's intended to intimidate and to threaten and to be deemed as a real firearm. So it depends on what the situation is, but for something like a robbery or even the brandishing of a weapon, if it's for intimidation and threatening, it is a criminal offense and to be real. We're finding that people are increasingly using these imitation replica firearms for in commission of offenses. We're also tracking some evolutions when it comes to firearms related to what's called ghost guns. So the ability of people to mail order parts of firearms and to assemble them, they're not traceable. And that creates a whole new environment for how weapons offenses are carried out. And also 3D printed technology. So people can create their own weapons and firearms now through emerging technology. So it hasn't been a groundswell within Waterloo region and across Ontario, but we're tracking these trends globally and within North America. So they often come here in time.
So as everyone knows, I sit on regional council and we talked about upstream programs and we had a huge success with upstream. And with the police, though, we talked about immigration coming into Canada and how they are scared of the place. And the work you have done over these last whiles has eliminated that problem. If you look at the Muslim women, they're the first ones to stand up and congratulate you on what you're doing. So I think you're going in the right direction. I'm quite pleased with that. Getting back to the Bell line, and we solved the issue. Have we captured anybody, or is it still gone? Can't believe this is going on. I know it's a tough one, and I know they're going in the 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock in the morning, and they're using ATVs and taking off again, but I hope you get the
We're absolutely devoted to it. We know the incredible disruption to our community when we've had some of these outages, the value to businesses and the impact on residents. So when I displayed some of those teams that are working in combination, it's a series of teams related to the organized crime. We recognize that it's a technology evolution issue within this part of the region where some of the technology is being turned over in time. So places where there's still copper wire being used in businesses within some of the main lines and compared to some of the other new technology. But we're on it, and I assure you we're doing everything we can to prevent it and to solve it and put an end to it.
So again, I want to say thank you and my, the police have approached my son-in-law several times for his camera in detection of crimes. That's really good. So can I please have the motion, Councilwoman?
Moved by myself, by Council Tilly, that a delegation from Chief Crowell, however, police services be received with thanks.
Thanks, man, guys. Take care.
For your time. Thank you.
Councilor Austin, did you want to say something?
We're just looking.
All in favor?
All in favor?
We can make.
Alita and I will.
Consent agenda, any other motion to taken from the consent agenda? See, Councilor Austin? Did you know?
No.
Seeing none, Councilor Austin, motion please.
Moved by myself, second by Council Rowland, that the following information items as listed on the September 22nd, 2025 consent agenda be received. 321, 13.2.1, communications, resolution received from Fort France regarding opposition to strong mayor's powers.
All those in favor? Carried, thank you. And next is, items listed from the consent agenda, another consent agenda, okay. Anyways, this is, Council Rooms and, the bylaws regarding to, 14.2, yeah, which is report number outdoor Remembrance Day service. Any questions? No questions or comments, Councilor Williams, please.
Moved by myself, second by Councilor Rowland, that rent report number 20-20245 be received, and that bylaw number 3591-25 being a bylaw to establish a temporary road closure for a portion of Piper Street, Church Street, and Stanley Street to facilitate the annual outdoor Remembrance Day service scheduled for Sunday, November 2nd, 2025, be enacted.
All those in favor? Carried, thank you. Next is the CPKC rail holiday training. Councilor Tilly, please.
Moved by myself, second by Councilor Ossner, that REC report number 29/2025 be received. And then bylaw number 3590-25 being a bylaw to establish a temporary road closure for a portion of English Street and a temporary no parking restriction for Willison, Cockwood, Elliott, Thompson, Cooper, and Noble Streets to facilitate the CPKC rail holiday train event scheduled for Friday, November 21st, 2025 be enacted. And in accordance with the bylaw number 3305-22, mobile food vendors scheduled B and C and the CPKC rail holiday trail scheduled for November 21st, 2025 be adopted as a special event. And further that food truck operations be permitted to be located within the temporary road enclosure area of English Street. Road allowances at locations determined by township staff. And the council waived the daily mobile food truck permit fee of $55 per truck for 3 mobile food trucks for the CP rail holiday train event on Friday, November 21st, 2025, between the hours of 3 and 7 p.m.
Sounded like a tongue twister.
I had a hard time.
You can belong this one. All those in favor? Carried. No, those are tongue twisters. You said that, I could have been the same.
I'll go over show it to you sometime.
Okay, next we have the report number PW 15/2025 request for quote. Councilor Roll, any questions or comments? Councilor Roll.
I'm gonna mess this one up though. Moved by myself and by Councilor Oster that PW report number 15-2025 be received and that council approves the awards contract ND 2025 C11 RFQ for West River Road residential lots drainage improvements, the amount of $45,739.58 plus HST to Deep Reach Excavating Inc. and that a project contingency of $15,000 net HST be established and that the treasurer be authorized to fund the capital budget variance for this project in the amount of $23,700 from the infrastructure reserve account. That the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute any necessary documents to facilitate the completion of this project.
All those in favor? Carried, thank you.
Well done.
I think we gotta do it since. Okay, that's that. And next, the telecommunication tower, Councillor Austin. Oh, do I have something? Oh, for the television, for the television, yeah, Victoria, would you like to speak on the tower?
No, I'm just available if there's any questions to answer.
Thank you. Is there any
Thanks.
questions, Councillor? Seeing none, can I have the motion, please, Councillor Austin?
Move on my. You want me to humble, don't you? Moved by myself, second by Councillor Wilms, that PD report number 56-2025 be received and that council authorizes the issuance of a letter of concurrence in support of a proposed 60-meter tall self-support telecommunications tower at 280 Wadham Drive for submission to Industry Canada.
All those in favor? Carried, thank you, Victoria.
Get it done. Kill it.
Thank you.
Next, we have the request for proposal, design and environmental assessment, Leedsville Road, Brantwater Ring Road. Are any questions from the public? Councillor Austin.
Just for clarification, this study and that, when I look at the map on Reedsville Road, did the study include straightening that road or would it be continued to go around the woods? Because I see the line that goes straight across, and I was just wondering if part of the study was to make it straight instead of jogging over.
So Madam Mayor, through Councillor Austin, study area was obviously that portion of Wrigley Road the Reedsville Road between Wrigley and Brant Waterloo. And then Brant Waterloo Road to the east and west approaches to the intersection of Reedsville Road. Now, the basis of that T-shaped study area is two things. One, we have what we call a problem statement. And so one aspect would be the environmental systems that frame both Brant Waterloo Road and Reedsville Road within the study area. And the sensitivity of those features, 4 seasons, habitat assessment, and whether or not we actually physically have to move the road, and I'm now speaking specifically on Reedsville, at an offset distance to enhance for the longer term that adjacent environmental system. So while there still might be a curve in the road, it may be more subtle. And at a distance further removed from that adjacent environmental system. So we're not running storm water, as an example, into that wetland area. As it relates to the feature on Brant Waterloo Road, we really don't have an ability to move the road, but we may be looking at some very specialized treatment or edge management treatment so that any impact associated with the road doesn't impact the long-term ecological or environmental function of the feature, either situated on the north or south side of Brant Waterloo Road. The other key element is we have an intersection that outlets the ridge midway up the hill on Brant Waterloo Road. As we improve our roads, hardtop, we will be encouraging likely more traffic movements, but also those traffic movements likely will be at a higher rate of speed. We effectively have a blind intersection. And so one aspect of the study was looking at potentially realigning the intersection to a more favorable location where you can have better sight lines to the east and west. So the whole point of an environmental assessment process is to identify your problem statements. Look at all reasonable alternatives that might be available to address or respond to the problem statement or the problem statements and come up with a preferred design scenario. In this case, it could include lands that are required outside of the current road allowance to facilitate new alignment of the road. So the environmental assessment is multi-approach. But it's certainly driven by two characteristics, one being the current safety location of the intersection of Frank Waterloo Road, and the other is the Erie Water Environmental Systems.
Okay. Well, can I, any other questions? Councillor Tilly?
Just in regards to, and I see that fall, the pricing in fall 2026, for the pricing. Sorry, my point was, is it because there's a limited amount of engineering groups that wanted to take onto this project that there was no bidding out there, or it just happened to be one of those times where possibly I missed, just for the pricing that came through, excuse me, let's look at, RJ Burnside and Associates, was that how they kind of felt? I'm just looking for a little bit of feedback on that one.
So I don't think it was that the project was missed. It was published through our bids and tenders.
Yeah.
And it actually goes to companies across Canada that are registered through bids and tenders, and they decide whether or not the scope of work and or timing for the project aligns with their availability and their resources. I would think that based on the scope of work, it may have been the order of magnitude of a wide range of resources that would be required. Very complicated study, but also you're looking at a year's timeline. Because one aspect is that Four Seasons environmental law, not just the habitat. And so it's quite a commitment in terms of time as well. And so they would be usurping their staff over quite a period of time, which might then interfere with their ability to take on other works. We went back to our internal consultant, RJ Burnside, who largely does development review work for the township. Asked them to review the terms of reference, their completeness, but also, you know, if they were to take this work in, because they're a multidisciplinary firm, and they actually have all of the aspects other than archaeologic, what they can do in-house for one or more of their offices. What would their cost be, and what was their project timeline in terms of project management? It's not shared in the report. So staff is basically saying in the report, council's got a series of options. The study needs to be done at some point, because we will have more and more traffic in the south end of Air, and we have to look at improving the road network in South Air to move people east, west, north, south. By improving some of those secondary roads like Grant Waterloo Road east towards Sprague's Road and or Reedsville through to Wrigley, we are trying to move traffic across a whole series of roads so that they're not necessarily aligned with having to move exclusively to Northumberland Street. The report identifies the council, and we believe we could delay the EA work until 2027. We'd go back out into the marketplace in fall of 26. But that then has a cascading effect in terms of when we actually do the reconstruction. Because if there is a land acquisition component, it's going to take some time to negotiate those land purchases, but it will be informed through the environmental assessment work, because that gives you justification. And so hence why the detailed engineering design will be delayed until 29, and the physical road construction portion will be in 2031. So it's got a cascading effect. Now, that means that there will be more development charges monies available in those later years, because obviously we have not witnessed a lot of new development in the last 18 months. And so, you know, the development charges accounts are under pressure. It would assist us from a cash flow perspective in the back end of the decade. But we could fund the study as presented right now with what's in reserves. If that is, if council believes that this is a priority that needs to be done here.
Councillor Williams?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you to staff. This study particularly identifies a part of a Reedsville Road, not the entire section from Wrigley forward. So there's a front portion of Reedsville Road that falls outside of the study area, and therefore this cascading change to plans. What is the thought then of turning that area into
RTOP in the meanwhile, or is that not a good idea? Thank you.
So Madam Mayor, through to Councillor Will, just so I better understand the context of your question. You asking if perhaps the northerly portion of Reedsville Road, let's just say from Wrigley Road to just to a point south of the Willowald distillery entrance. Could we hard top that and not worry about the fact that we're potentially looking at delaying the environmental assessment process? In that context, yes, because the works that we're talking about, if we're just looking at hard topping the road, it would be done within the existing road allowances we know. We do not need a land take to undertake the improvement. It would be similar to most rural road projects where we probably add 4 to 6 inches of granular material to create a more substantive base. Paper and crown the road accordingly. We will be doing ditching work improvements to accommodate the road, the water coming from the brow of the hill, which is generally where the driveway to Willowball is present. It's pretty close to the high point. And of course, it will be draining northerly toward Wrigley Road. So we'll be shaping roadside ditches on both sides of the road, tie into the Wrigley Road network. That could be a separate capital undertaking under the direction of council as part of the annual budget process.
Just to add my 2 cents, could we also see if we could go down to Laurel Meads, because I think Laurel Meads is before the bend.
So
No,
Madam
it's
Mayor,
not, you're shaking your heads no.
Laurel Meads is to the south of the environmental feature. And that is certainly one of the key parts of the environmental assessment in terms of what is the alignment of the road around those bends, and then I'm gonna call it the transition back to potentially the existing alignment of the road.
Thank you. The motion, please, Councillor Wilms.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Tilly, that PW report number 16-2025 be received. And that council close out request for proposal ND-2025-C4-RFP. And that the Schedule C environmental assessment, Reedsville Road, Grant Waterloo Road be identified for inclusion in the 10-year capital forecast, 2026 to 2035 for delivery in 2027. And the engineering design Reedsville Road, Brent Waterloo Road be identified for inclusion in the 10-year capital forecast, 2026 to 2035 for delivery in 2029. And the road reconstruction project be identified for delivery in 2031.
All those in favor? Carried, thank you. Next, we have report number CAO 23-2025 proposed contract project. Any questions or comments? I see we lost Mr. Bellamy. So can I have the motion, please, Councillor Tilly? It's shorter this time.
Let's work it out. Moved by myself, second by Councillor Roman, that CO report number 23-2025 be received, and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute any contracts or documents necessary to secure and finalize the Ontario Terminal Grant award for the pump track project. And the pump track project be carried forward into the 2026 capital budget.
All those in favor? Carried, thank you. And now we are to read. No correspondence, no reporting there, closed session, Council Rowland, please.
Moved by myself, from Councillor Oster, that council move into closed meeting session at 7:47 PM pursuant to Wisconsin section 2392 to discuss 16.1 report number LGL 08-2025 Edward B. West Pitt Ontario Land Tribunal litigation, potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the Calgary local board, Wisconsin section 2392E, and advice is subject to solicitor client privilege, including communications necessary to that purpose, Wisconsin section 2392F. 60.2 report number CAO 24-2025. Personal matters by identifiable individual, including municipal or labor board employees, Municipal Act section 2392B, and labor relations or employee relations, employee negotiations, Municipal Act section 2392D.
All those in favor? Carried, thank you. Councillor Osmer, please.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Wells, that council reconvene into open session at 9:15 PM. 9:16,
All those in favor? Carried, thank you.
it's 0.25.
And next, Councillor Will, again. That goes from the second, sorry. Where's the signing where I sign it? Oh. There isn't a second page.
It's not there. It was. You can just sign at the bottom.
I will sign at the bottom, okay.
See it.
And I will mark that, whether it was approved or not. Council Rooms, please.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Oster, that council adopt the proposed zoning bylaw amendment, revised Alps Road Agri Road Crossing Agreement and minutes of settlement in support of the proposed Edworthy West Pit, case number OLT 24-001033, as presented at the September 22nd, 2025 closed session meeting, subject to any minor revisions as required by Township Legal Counsel and or the Chief Administrative Officer. And that Cambridge Aggregates Inc. be advised of council's decision and direction related to the minutes of settlement, revised Alps Road at Grade Road Crossing Agreement, and the implementing zoning bylaw amendment associated with the Edworthy West Pit proposal, and that the applicable documents be filed with the Ontario Land Tribunal OLT, and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute the minutes of settlement and the revised Alps Road at Grade Road Crossing Agreement.
All those in favor? Carried, thank you. I'll have to check this one. And same with the next one, right? Councillor Tilly, please. No.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Roman, reporting out a closed session, verbal report consideration for CEO report number 24-2025. Council received a CEO report number 2025 in closed session. Directions were provided to the Chief Administrative Officer. The Chief Administrative Officer over the next short period will be releasing certain elements of today's discussion for both staff and members of the public.
Why was this made into a motion? I usually do this.
It's not, it's reporting out, it's not a motion.
She's got a mover and a seconder on it.
So that would be there by accident then.
Who says this?
What?
It's just a comment, that's fine. Doesn't need a move, doesn't need a vote, because it's just reporting. This should not have happened. Okay, now. I believe we're at the bylaws, Councillor Roman, please.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Wilms, that the following bylaw be read first and second time. 20.1 bylaw number 3590-25, being a bylaw to establish a temporary road closure for a portion of Lewis Street and temporary no parking restrictions for Wilson, Calhoun, Elliott, Thompson, Cooper, and Newell Streets. Facilitate CPKC rail all-day train event scheduled for Friday, November 21st, 2025. 20.2 bylaw number 3591-25, being a bylaw to establish a temporary road closure for a portion of Piper Street, Church Street, and Stanley Street to facilitate the annual outdoor Remembrance Day service scheduled for Sunday, November 2nd, 2025. 20.3 bylaw number 3592-25, being a bylaw to confirm the proceeding with council on September 22nd, 2025.
All those in favor? Carried, thank you. And Councillor Osner, please.
Move on myself, second by Councillor Roman, that bylaw numbers 3590-25, 3591-25, 3592-25 be read a third and final time and be signed and sealed by the mayor and clerk.
All those in favor? Carried, thank you. And who's gonna fight over the adjournment? Councillor Wilms, please.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Oster, that whereas business before this council meeting has been completed at 9:20 PM and be resolved that this meeting adjourned.
All those in favor? Opposed?
They're supposed.
Carried.